Maybe you're right, sonny, calling the coroners. Maybe we're powerless, a corner full of foreigners. Maybe this neighborhood's changing forever. Maybe tonight is our last night together, however. How do you want to face it? Do you want to waste it when the end is so close you can taste it? Y'all could cry with your head in the sand. I'ma fly this flag that I got in my hand. Can we raise our voice tonight? Can we make a little noise tonight?
Obviously, this looks like a joyous, wonderful, effortless thing, but I imagine the making of it was the opposite. How tough was it to execute this film? Because I imagine there were lots of long, long days.
There was a lot of long days. There was a lot of logistics that went into everything, but in the most loving way possible. It's like, when you stay up all night with your buddies and you're working on some project and you can't sleep and you don't want to sleep, and that's okay. That's how it felt. And then to the fact that people actually get to see it now after a year of rest, it's even better. So it was hard, but everyone gave their all.
We had 10 weeks of dance rehearsals to learn all the choreography. And it was long days, long hours of being on our feet in heels a lot of the time for the women. A lot of sweating and crying and bleeding sometimes. But it was also such a joyous experience that all the hard work that we were putting in, we were like, it's all, we're all willing to put that work in because we know that this story needs to be told, and we're gonna put our souls into it.
I like to think of this experience and the movie and the end product of it, like how Usnavi describes dreams. Like, when people think of a dream, he says sometimes a dream isn't a shiny diamond. Sometimes it's rough, right? The process was a lot of hard work and a lot of love and giving our full selves to, be able to tell this beautiful story and all of its brilliance and magic and splendor, because we knew we were making something that could be really, really special and felt really responsible over the story. But it was a lot of hard work. By the time we got to set, it was fun because we had done all the preparation, but it was a lot.
I'll tell you something, Tom. CNC Fe was shot in 3 days in the bowels of the New York City subways. And one day was a night shoot. I went in at 5:30 p.m. in the afternoon, and I came home at 7:30 in the morning the next day. But when the cameras are on and you're singing and all those dancers were there all night. It's just they were like we were supporting each other, and we just we were so excited to be there in Washington Heights that we plowed through and we got it done.
I could give you example after example, but it has to do with Jon Chu, our director's preparedness, because he was so prepared. And I've been on films with directors that literally are like that, and he was willing to roll with everything, whether it was rain. He got in the water. I watched him get in the water with Greg and those 500 extras, and literally put the movie on his back. And it was, and he's always of the mindset of, things happen for a reason. We're going to roll with it. If we only have a day, if it's 96 degrees, it's, if we're down in the train, he was able, because he was so prepared. And he, because of that preparedness, he's able to flow and give his cast the permission to just fly with it. And that, I see that in every frame of the film. That last sequence that Corey and Leslie do on the building, that was one of the last musical sequences that were filmed. And they had to go back to that choreography that they had learned 3.5 months before. It was amazing, just amazing. Jon, over and over again, I can't say good enough things about him in terms of how prepared he is as a director.
I guess one of the longer experiences we had was a lot of our musical numbers weren't really one day kind of things. We did have one Carnaval del Barrio that we filmed in a day, which was amazing because that was also a huge number. But we had other ones like 96,000 that we did over the course of 3 days. You know, it can definitely get tiring at times, especially because it was raining for those 3 days, and rain tends to make you kind of like slouchy and stuff. But none of us were. It was really just hitting it head on, and there was just so much energy, and everyone was just so hyped up. I mean, we had 500 plus extras, a majority of them from Washington Heights themselves. So there's an authenticity to it, not just to that scene, but to the film as a whole that you can definitely see on screen.
I pick a business school and pay the entrance fee. And maybe if you're lucky, you'll stay friends with me. I'll be a businessman richer than Nina's daddy. Tiger Woods and I on the links, and he's my caddy. My money's making money. I'm going from pole to moto. Keep the bling. I want the brass ring like Proto.
Oh no, here goes Mr. Braggadocio. Next thing you know, you lying like Pinocchio.
Yo, if you scared of the bull, stay out the rodeo.
Yo, I got more flows than Obi-Wan Kenobi. Oh, you better stop rapping. You not ready. It's gonna get hot and heavier. You already sweat. Yo. Yo, I'm sorry. Was that an answer? Shut up, go home and pull your damn pants up. As for you, Mr. Frodo of the Shire,
What?
96 G's ain't enough to retire. Come on.
I have enough to knock your ass off its axis.
You'll have a knapsack full of Jack after taxes.
Obviously, you shot where all this, this stuff really happened, as it were.
Yeah.
Was that vital to it? Was that, something you insisted on, or was it just the best logistical thing to do? I mean, when did you kind of come to that decision?
I think it was right off the bat. I think we all understood that in order to do a movie like this properly, it's called In the Heights. If you shot on a backlot, you get killed. This was, we had to be there. Then you started thinking, oh, wait, we have to do musical numbers on these streets. Is that even possible? Can we close down 2 blocks that way, 2 blocks that way, like, it's crazy. 8 blocks in New York City. Can we do that? And when we found out, yes, we could, then we did it. We went there, and it made all the difference. Anywhere I turned the camera would be a part of this personality of this movie. And it inspired. It wasn't just a character in this movie. It was a co-worker. It was a co-writer. It inspired every moment.
It was amazing. There's always something special. It makes it easier when you're on location. And it makes it even easier when you're on the actual location where the story was meant to take place. And being in Washington Heights, which is where Lin lives still to this day, where he, knows people that are exactly like Usnavi, like Nina, like Vanessa and Benny, that walk the streets every day. It was easier to get in character. We just kind of walked there, and we were like, oh, I feel who these people are. I feel the energy. I feel the beauty and the vibrancy of the neighborhood. And
how was Lin to work with? Because obviously he's enjoyed a stellar few years since this premiered. So, I mean, how was he to get on with?
Incredible, get along with. He every day on set, he was just like a proud dad, and just showing up. And obviously he's a producer on this as well, and so he was there, in there with us, making big decisions along with Jon and Lin and Kiara, but he also was just there giving us all the support and the context for all these moments that we were recreating and immortalizing in real time, giving us all that liberty and support as well to be able to tell the story and bolster us up. So it was amazing. And his humility, and just seeing him bring his kids to the park and his wife come by, and while we're in the middle of a number, just you see how real the story is for him.
He's a huge diva. No, this guy is exactly what you hope he is. He's like a kid who's playing a game in his backyard, and we all get to join in, and we're making a fort. And Kiara is the same way. And the things that we're making of that fort are the places that they grew up, their neighborhood. And I just happen to know how to make a fort. So the fact that we all got to work on this together and invite the world in to play with us, I think it's going to be really, really exciting.
On Washington Heights, up at the break of day, I wake up and I got this little punk I gotta chase away. Pop the brake at the crack of dawn, sing while I wipe down the awning.
Hey, y'all. Good morning.
It's obviously a big ensemble cast. There's not really one star, as it were. How was it putting all that together? Because I guess you're not casting one person. You've got to think of how everyone plays off with each other.
Yeah, we needed a good range of ages. You know, Sonny could be an older person at that point. He usually is played by like a 20, 24-year-old type. But we found little Gregory, who was 14 years old. And then we had Olga, who was playing a lot older. And then you had someone like Anthony. Where does Usnavi fit into that? Is Vanessa and Nina older and younger than each other? So what we really relied on was who can speak the language of music, of dance and dialogue, and ebb and flow between them effortlessly. Who could express themselves in those so naturally and so truthfully that the songs would resonate in a different way than they did on the stage. We didn't have to yell those words out, that you could do it quietly to yourself. And then the image that we could create could yell at the audience. Like, how can we play those things? That's what really drove our casting.
You know, the nature, Tommy, of what an ensemble, how an ensemble functions, that there's a wheel and the story is the wheel, the locomotion that continues forward. But everybody knows that there's spokes in that wheel that each of us fit into. That's the only way that I can put it in terms of how I felt with this cast. And it had to do with the preparedness that they allowed us to have. And Lin is a collaborator. That's the way he works. He collaborates. And Jon, again, doing it on the cinematic side. And I see that in frames, in scenes in the film, some of the intimate scenes where I know that the actors have depended on themselves doing the musical stuff beforehand with the boot camp, and it just makes the relationship crackle.
Did you kind of become a family, and was it kind of a family atmosphere with all the cast members?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, that's what the story required, but that's also what just naturally happened. We felt like we knew each other for, years when we got together. And I think that's a combination of like casting and Jon, Lin, and Kiara choosing people that they felt like really had chemistry, because you need these characters need to feel like they know each other for years, because they do. But also, like, we all really felt blessed to be a part of telling this story. And you felt that in every room that you walked into, down to every dancer, by the way. Like, so many moments compounded on top of each other led to all of us having the opportunity to be a part of this magical story and this movie and project. So that just creates an environment of love and just gratitude and like, oh my God, I'm so glad I get to do this with you, So yeah, that love is real.
It kind of felt like summer camp. Like, you were coming on set every day and you were just having fun with friends and family. It honestly doesn't get better than that. As an actor, I've never been in an environment where I could like truly just be myself and like be a goofball. I didn't have to be like, I'm here to work and only work. It was just like, there was never a dull day or a dull moment on set.
Little details that tell the world we are not invisible.
Ignore anyone who doubts you.
We came to work and to live, and we got a lot in common.